Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we're taking a look at another little bit of interesting news out of the San Jose Sharks on the latest for defenseman Erik Karlsson. What is his future with the San Jose Sharks? We obviously know things didn't start off too well. He got booed on opening night when his name was called there at SAP Center there in San Jose. And there's been kind of this assumption that he could eventually get traded. Now, the problem was, really most of last offseason, the conversation kind of died because anything you would have said, well, for that big contract, he's not going anywhere. Now it's looking less and less likely that this is a guy that is untradeable. He's looking much more attractive with the way he's played this season. He's currently leading the way in the Norris Trophy voting in terms of the best defenseman in the entire National Hockey League. He currently leads the NHL in terms of defensemen, in terms of points. He's got 11 goals, which is most in the NHL for a defenseman, 24 assists, and 35 points in 29 games with the Sharks already this season. It's been a really great season for Karlsson. He's played really well on a Sharks team that hasn't necessarily been that good. This is a guy that really has given them any chance at really finding any sort of offense. And that's kind of why people are like, man, he's playing fairly well on a team that is not good at all. So there's been some rumors that some within the Edmonton Oilers organization are interested in defenseman Erik Karlsson, but it will be incredibly tough to make it work. And that was from Darren Dreger. He said the urgency on getting a new defenseman comes from Evan Bouchard being benched last game, and the Oilers could make a move sooner rather than later. So that's kind of what we're looking at. So there is that genuine interest from the Oilers organization and the higher-ups to maybe bring in Karlsson. But kind of like Darren Dreger said, it's going to be difficult for the Oilers to do that. They are one of those teams that is very close to the salary cap ceiling, and it would be incredibly difficult to facilitate a trade where there's $11 million tied up in one player. And I'm not saying that they have to eat up that full $11 million. The Sharks could definitely eat some of that money. But again, it's not a great contract. $11.5 million per year. Let me correct myself. So it's going to be a tough deal if the Oilers really do want to bring him in. It's going to take a lot. Now, this was from Kevin Weeks. He said Erik Karlsson is getting a lot of interest. The Senators are still looking at him. And I think this is more just trying to create that kind of smoke. I don't see him going back to the Senators. And I think Senators fans here in the comments have been kind of the same way. They're like, yeah, like we've been there, done that. I just don't think it's the best thing for us. And I think that's kind of what you're looking at is just, it had its chance, and it's like, how do they bring him back after everything that's happened, right? I just don't see that happening. And that's why I think the Oilers really would be an interesting team for Karlsson. They have the assets, but again, is the starter for the Sharks looking at a Philip Broberg and some of those young guys and Dylan Holloway? I don't know how keen the Oilers are going to be on maybe moving those guys, right? So obviously, I'll give you guys more updates on that. It's kind of a fluently changing situation, but I know there's been a lot of talk about Karlsson and potentially getting traded. But honestly, guys, it is going to be immensely difficult, especially in the middle of the regular season where teams have, really kind of tied up their money where they have. Unless you're seeing a big player and a big player going each way, it's going to be really difficult to see something like this kind of coming to fruition. Again, I've heard crazy things in the past, but hey, you know what? We'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think down below. What do you guys think of Erik Karlsson potentially going to the Edmonton Oilers? Do you think it's kind of just smoke in the air? Or do you guys think there is some legitimate credibility to maybe seeing that potentially happen here before the NHL trade deadline, which will be in February? Guys, thank you so much for watching, and let's go Sharks.